Hello people, this is Taylor, and I'm here to tell you guys yet another story of my childhood, which should give you a good laugh and stuff. So let's get into the story. So I was about 8 years old, and we had just moved to Florida, and so my sister Madison was probably about 4, and Victoria was probably about 7 at the time. So my dad and my mom and us kids, we hopped on our bikes, lived in this really cool neighborhood that had lots of trails and stuff like that. As you know, Florida has lots of palm trees and also storms, and so one of the palm trees by this creek that was down there had fallen over and created kind of like a small narrow path, a bridge if you will, across the creek. And so we go down there on our bikes and we're going down this path, and finally we get down to the creek. And so I go across first, and of course I'm like all cool and stuff, you know, because I'm like adventure boy, so I like go across it quickly. And then Victoria comes across and she's like about to fall, but then she keeps going. And by the way, the creek at this time hadn't rained for a while, so the creek was only about this deep. In some parts it got that deep, but for the most part it was about this deep. Next up is my dad and Madison. And Madison, since she's so young, she can't really go across on her own, so my dad has to like hold her hand. But since the log is like this big, it's like very difficult for my dad. They go across slowly, and they're going and going, and Madison like starts to freak out because she's like, ah! You know, because she's like this little baby. And so my dad is like, okay, Madison, just calm down, just calm down. He's like holding her hands, and then out of nowhere, Madison like starts to like slip and fall because the palm tree was a little bit wet. So my dad picks her up and it's like trying to hold her, but then in doing that, he also starts to slip too. And so he's like going like this, and we're like watching and like, oh, we're like, what's gonna happen? And so my dad, in desperation, as he's slipping, catapults Madison into the air. It's like a Matrix scene. Madison is over here. My dad, us, and Madison like goes and splashes into the water. Luckily, she fell into one of these deep places. She's like gets up, and my dad like falls, and he like goes just like splashing into the water after Madison had been thrown in the air, and he's just like laying there. He gets up and he runs over, swims half, crawling over to Madison, and like picks her up, and she's like crying, and I was like, oh, I'm just over there. Oh yeah, that was awesome. Do it again. My mom decides after this whole predicament happened, she's not going to be crossing the river and risking her dry shorts and shirt. So she waited over there, and we had a great time. And of course, me and Victoria got over the log fine, and my dad, all soaking wet, just decided to carry Madison over his shoulders and walked across the creek. We got up on our bikes and we headed out, but anyway, it was pretty funny. So there you guys go. That's a little short story from my childhood. My dad throwing Madison off a log into water. Yes. Okay, anyway, so make sure to like, share, subscribe, and all that goody two-shoes stuff. And I will see you guys on my next video. Ah!